Welcome back. Tutukan naman natin ngayong araw ang World Cup bid ng Spain. Ito na kaya ang taon na makakuha sila muli ng kanilang ikalawang World Cup trophy. Well, let's talk to football analyst and Espanyol himself, Mr. Mikee Carrion. Mikey, welcome back to The Score.
Thanks, PJ.
Well, who better to talk to Spain, talk about Spain than you, of course. And you know how exciting this is, a time for them to try and bounce back. They won in 2010, their first World Cup title. And hindi maganda yung exit in 2014 because they lost in the group stage pa lang.
Yes.
Nung nangyari yun, okay, from that big win in 2010 and then high expectations of being a contender again in 2014, with the way they exited, what were your thoughts on that and what happened to the team at that time?
Well, looking back at 2014, there were many things that people, the journalists, media in Spain, they thought happened. It's one of the reasons was, I think, they should have maybe renewed the team before going into that World Cup.
Okay.
You know, there were a lot of players, I think, who weren't in their top shape, best shape for that World Cup. But the coach decided to, I think, call them anyway, since these were the players who, like you said, won the World Cup back in 2010. So I think the coach just owed them something. Okay. So he wanted to bring those same players. But I think there were a couple of players on that team that maybe shouldn't have been on that lineup as well.
Okay, but you know, there's this saying of if it ain't broken, don't fix it, diba? You're the defending champions, pero in the span of the 4 years between the 2010-2014, did you and other Spanish fans and critics see the deterioration of some of those older players who should not have come back?
I think
probably?
You could see it coming already, BJ, before the call was made. I think us fans and you were expecting maybe to have some new players on that lineup, but you didn't see it. And I think you can also say that, like you said, there was a span of 4 years, and I think a lot of these teams had the chance to study Spain's style of play. Okay. So I think that worked against them as well. You know, they were able to counter Spain's type of play. So I think that's what made them, you know, have a really bad World Cup.
Masakit, diba? Kasi imagine you come from 2008, the European Championship, 2010 World Cup, and then the 2012 Euro Championships. You got 4 years of solid.
Nobody's ever done that. Win a Euro, win a World Cup, and then win a Euro again. It was the first time ever done in the history of football. So,
and then is it the first time a defending champion goes out in the group stage?
I'm not sure about that. I think it's happened in the past, but like you said, it was very disappointing for us because if you look back, Spain was still one of the top contenders that year. But like you said, in the group stage.
Okay, now coming to 2018, what are they doing differently? What have you seen in terms of how they're putting this team together? Anong naiba sa Spain, and how have they learned their lessons from 2014?
Well, I think they have, like you mentioned, the 2014 disappointment and the 2016 Euro, very disappointing as well. So I think the first thing Spain did, their major change was, first of all, change the head coach. You know, Del Bosque was there for a long time, so now they brought in Julian Lopetegui, and he's tried to change the face of the team, and like I said, he's taken out some of these older players, and he's bringing in a lot of new players, new faces into the team who I think they're very hungry, they're performing very well in La Liga. So I think it's a smart thing for him to do. He's really calling in. If you look at the calls, you know, the players he's been bringing in, he's really bringing in the players who are at their peak at their moment right now. So he's really calling in the best players of Spain at this moment.
All right, let's talk about specific players like that. You know, just reading up on them a bit, talks of Sergio Ramos, David Silva, even Isco as key players. Who stands out for you, and who will be really key for, you know, Spain's bid to, again, at least advance and get close to having a chance to win it again?
Well, I think what's going to be key, you got to look at all lines of the field. No? I mean, the goalkeeper is very key. So Casillas is out. It's going to be David De Gea playing at goal. And then, like you mentioned, Ramos and Piqué in the center of the defense. That's going to be very important to keep the defense tight, you know, not let in a lot of goals. And then, of course, the midfield. And I think one of the key players, he's a bit older now, but I think he's going to be a key for Spain. If he comes in healthy enough, it's going to be Andres Iniesta. Okay, Iniesta. Andres Iniesta is going to be definitely a key player. And then
there was some doubt if he would make it because of his age, right?
Well, yes, there's a lot of doubts, but he plays for Barcelona, and they're keeping him, they're trying to take care of him. He's playing, if you look at the games of Barcelona, he's playing 60, 70 minutes. His coach is really resting him pretty well, and there's no doubt if he's healthy, he's going to be in the lineup. And then you got to look at another player, David Silva as well.
Yes, of course, yeah.
David Silva, you got Sergi Busquets, and then it's going to depend who's going to be playing up top. Now you got to score goals, got to score a lot of goals as well if you want to win the World Cup. So I think it's going to be, you know, a team effort. Spain's not like, if you look at other teams like Portugal, you got Ronaldo, Argentina with Messi. Spain doesn't have that one player. It's basically really a team effort.
Right. Well, and speaking of team effort, let's introduce the fans to that style of play. What is the style of play of Team Spain? What are they known for, especially with how they did so well in that stretch from 2008 to 2012? And though now there are some changes in the lineup and the coach, are we going to expect a different looking Spain aside from the manpower, or Spanish style will still be there?
Well, like you mentioned, back in 2008, I think Spain changed their type of play. We all know the famous, it's called tiki-taka style.
Yeah, the tiki-taka.
Before that, they would always mention Spain by the Furia Roja, the Red Fury. So
yes.
A lot of fight and aggressiveness. But it never got Spain really anywhere.
Okay.
And then back in 2008, they won their first Euro, and they tried to change that style of play, which is, it's basically keeping possession of the ball, short one-touch football, a lot of possession. So that's the type of football Spain's been playing.
Okay.
And then, but with Lopetegui, like I mentioned, the new coach, he still tries to play that type of play, but he's changing things up. We've also seen Spain play with a three-man defense instead of the back line of four.
Yeah,
he's
this is not what most people do, what most teams do.
So he's been changing things around, and he's also played sometimes. He doesn't mind giving possession to the opponent and try to catch him on the counterattacks, and Spain has a lot of really fast players as well. So it's good to see that change. And like I mentioned, I think yung mga ibang teams, they've already mastered the type Spain plays, and they know how to counter it. So I think it's good that Lopetegui is bringing at least he's got a plan B and even a plan C, So
all right. Well, let's try to break down their chances. Sinong kagrupo nila? They're in Group B, right?
Yes.
Who are they going up against? And based on that, what do you see the chances of them at least advancing to the next round first?
Well, in their group, I don't think they're going to have a problem.
Okay.
Because like I mentioned last week, I think there's a big gap. Spain, Portugal, and then there's a big gap between Morocco and Iran.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be clear Spain and Portugal are going to qualify.
Yeah.
We just have to see who's going to be on top. The first game of the group, it's Spain and Portugal actually maglalaban na kaagad, the first teams.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on that game. Whoever wins that game is going to finish on top.
Right.
And then later on, it's the knockout stage already. Anything can happen there. So, but if you ask me my chances, I think they have a pretty good chance. I think we got 4 to 5 teams who I think are on my list who can maybe win the World Cup, and definitely Spain is there. Spain's one of them.
On your list. Okay. Biases aside, Mikey, I know it's tough, but anong fearless forecast mo para sa Spain this year?
Well, like I said, I think they're one of the teams who can actually make it to the finals, TJ.
Okay.
Make it to the finals, and then in the finals, one game, anything can happen. So I think Spain, they should be up there, and I think they do have a chance of winning it. And like I said, there's another 4 to 5 teams who can.
Yeah.
I think they have the equal chance right now of winning the World Cup, just like Spain.
Which should make things even all the more exciting, because it's we love the format, one game knockout. You never know who's going to make it, who's going to have a good day, a bad day, and that's the beauty of the World Cup. Mikey, maraming salamat. See you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ.
For more sports updates, keep watching The Score, and don't forget to subscribe.